we were watching the video. He didn't really seem to be interacting with anyone. He's kind of standing in the back of the room just waiting. Again, was asked to leave, still standing in the room. So we are waiting on an update on what's going to happen with that, as Dallas police have been called. But what we do know is that there was a court order put in place that Anthony, who is the accused killer in this case, was told he could not have any contact with Metcalf's family. This press conference was for Anthony's parents, Karmelo Anthony's parents. It's unclear if he is actually in the building. So it's unclear if Jeff Metcalf being here is a violation of a court order. We just know that Karmelo Anthony is not to have contact with the Metcalf family, indirectly or directly, according to a court order. So we are standing by to get more information on that, but we are told that Jeff Metcalf's presence in this room is the reason that we are late, the reason that we have not started this yet. So we are waiting on information on that. Okay. We have just learned that Karmelo Anthony is actually not in the building. So at this point, it doesn't seem that this would be a violation of a court order. So it's still a bit unclear what the delay is here. Perhaps him just being there is the reason.
This guy's a G, man. I love this guy.
Okay, we just received information that the Next Generation Action Network, which is the advocacy group that is actually hosting this press conference, has said that they will not start this press conference until Jeff Metcalf leaves this office.
Wow.
So
this guy is like, this guy's a hero. This guy is a freaking hero. Wow.
And I'm just getting more and more information about this from our crew that's at the scene here. We're being told that there are no uniformed officers who are on the property at this time. Next Generation Action Network says they have plainclothes officers there, but Dallas police have been called to come here because Jeff Metcalf, the father of Austin Metcalf, has arrived here, and the advocacy group that is, really hosting this press conference says that they will not start the press conference while he is in the room. So we are just standing by. Seems to be a bit of a stalemate at this time. Again, he has been asked to leave. Obviously, he's still standing.
Yo, this is like Jesus facing down the Pharisees right now, man.
Will be here.
This is powerful.
We will keep you updated.
Mind you,
stay here until we see what happens here, and we'll update you.
Mind you, I did a video on the National Action Network, dude. This guy is a child abuser. This guy is a convicted child abuser, and this is the guy who is. And this is nothing against Karmelo Anthony. This kid is innocent until proven guilty. I'm not in any way saying anything about Karmelo, but the person who's representing him is a convicted child abuser. And I don't care if YouTube demonetizes this stream or not. I don't care. It is what it is. People like that man, that Alexander man, whatever his name is, should not be in the public spotlight. We should not be listening to him. And for the people who support Karmelo Anthony, this is the worst person to be a spokesperson for this family.
First time. And the Next Generation Action Network said that the purpose of this press conference was for them to tell their truth. They feel that there has been misinformation in this case. They feel that there have been what was called a wave of falsehoods in this case. So the purpose of this morning's press conference was for them to essentially set the record straight from their point of view. It seems as if they were not expecting for Mr. Metcalf to be here. They said they are not going to speak until he leaves.
Because you're cowards.
What we haven't seen is really any confrontation, really any interaction from Mr. Metcalf since he's arrived here. It's unclear if they've made contact, if they've spoken or anything like that. The only thing we know at this point is that there seems to be a stalemate here with the family saying that they're not going to speak until he leaves, him being asked to leave and choosing not to. So we're going to keep our shot up in this room so you can kind of keep an eye on what's going on. And as soon as we have more information about what comes next, we'll let you know.
Wow. Of course, they're cowards. They're cowards. They don't want to face this man. They don't want to face the man who lost his son. Regardless of what you think,
what you're looking at now,
he lost his son.
Photos that came from the field of the father of Austin Metcalf.
You got people out here talking like this, like Austin Metcalf. Like, I see the humanity in Karmelo Anthony. I see that Karmelo Anthony is a child. I see that Karmelo Anthony made a bad choice. Innocent or guilty, he is a child. Why can't people see the humanity in Austin Metcalf? How are we choosing sides and we're forgetting that these are two children involved in this situation? I see the humanity in Karmelo Anthony's father, who went to work, sent his kid to this track meet, and now he's dealing with the fact that his child might possibly lose much of his adult life in prison. Why can't we see the humanity in this man whose child is dead? How can you look at this man and not have your heart broken into a million pieces? Why are we choosing sides? Why are we making this into a race issue, a race war? This is not a race war. This is a tragedy all the way around. Doesn't matter what side you look on, it's a tragedy. And that's what we should be doing right now instead of being divided. It's unbelievable.
Right now, just want to walk you through some updates in this case as we're waiting on. Sorry, I'm getting more updates from our producer now. So we're standing by. Jobin Puneker is actually in the room here. He's the one who is sending these photos. He's been covering this case, and he's actually at the Next Gen office with this. So we're standing by for a live update from him inside of the room. But if you are just joining us, we are trying to hear from Karmelo Anthony's parents, and we are kind of standing by to see what comes of Austin Metcalf's father being in the room, and Anthony's parents saying they're not going to speak till he leaves. We're going to see if we can get Jobin Puneker to give us an update live as well. All right, well, we are being told that Jobin Puneker is going to be available in just a little bit. So until he is, just want to give you a quick update in this case. You know, earlier this week, actually on Monday, Anthony was released from jail after his bond was lowered, so he is able to be at home. We're told he's not actually at this press conference right now. His parents are expected to speak, and we are hoping to get an update from them.
I definitely want to hear what the parents have to say.
Can be resolved with Jeff Metcalf being there. And again, Jobin Puneker is actually live there, so we're going to take him now.
Yeah, that press conference was supposed to start here at 11 o'clock. We're here in downtown Dallas. This press conference was precipitated by Next Generation Action Network, a Dallas-based advocacy group, speaking on behalf of the Karmelo Anthony family. You know, over the last 2 weeks, we've been getting press statements from them. This was the opportunity to hear from them for the first time. We're now hearing from Dominique Alexander with Next Generation that this press conference has been.
Convicted child abuser Dominique Alexander shook a baby till his brain hemorrhaged and put the child in the intensive care unit, pled guilty and did 2 years in prison, went on a high-speed chase from the police, stole a car, committed forgery, the whole nine. That is the guy who was the leader of the National Action Network, whatever they call it.
Been delayed. I'm going to have Billy Bryant, who is one of our photographers, go out, show you.
And I'm not saying that in any way to knock Karmelo Anthony. That little boy has nothing to do with this National Network dude. Look at the father of Austin Metcalf.
A lot of the people here still waiting for this press conference to happen, and the reason for this delay is because Austin Metcalf's father is here.
Hero.
Jeff Metcalf.
Look at this guy.
As you know, Karmelo Anthony was arrested, charged with murder in the death of Austin Metcalf.
And his arm is messed up. Look, he got his arm in a brace. He's a hero.
They say Metcalf was stabbed with a knife at a track meet in Frisco. You see there a picture of Jeff Metcalf. He is on his phone. Had a chance to talk with somebody there with Next Generation Action Network. They tell us they've asked Jeff Metcalf to leave. He said no. They said they were going to call DPD to remedy this situation, have Jeff Metcalf leave, because there's, according to Next Generation, they are not going to have both families here in the same location at the same time. They said there's a court order that says that. We've been looking through.
There's no court order that separates the families. There's a court order probably from Karmelo. That's order protection is standard for the subject. But there's no court order saying that the two fathers can't be in the same place, because there's no history of violence. They don't just give blanket court orders like that.
Some of our documents, I don't think there's anything that says that per se. Now there is some language that says Karmelo Anthony cannot have any connection with the Metcalf family in any way. So we're still trying to figure out what's going on here. Still,
I don't even have to be from Georgia to know that. The law is the law. America is America.
Fluid situation. Again, a delay here. It's supposed to start at 11 o'clock. It is now after 11:30. We'll see what ends up precipitating here.
obviously very heightened when you have this situation in both families in the same room when they haven't had this before. So that is understandable. Okay, well, listen, we'll check back in with you. We know you're talking to people, and we'll get to the bottom of it.
Thanks for joining us here on WFA Plus. I'm Chris Sadeghi, and we are going to take you inside the hearing, the bond hearing for Karmelo Anthony that happened on Monday morning. There's a lot of public interest on this case. There were
What happened?
Anthony's bond from $1 million to $250,000. And we actually went to some in-depth conversation in a special that we produced just on this issue to help walk you through this.
All right, so they're going to skip over to a special or whatever because they're kind of waiting to figure out what's happening at the press conference. So let's listen to what they have to say, and then I'll find something else.
And also the NAACP. I want to start before the hearing. Jobin, you cover Collin County a lot. You've covered a lot of cases at that courthouse. Can you compare the security detail for yesterday's hearing compared to others that you've covered?
So I've been covering Collin County for 12 years, covered some high-profile cases in Collin County, now court trials in Collin County. We had the Grace Ford murder case, toddler who was killed. We had Christina Morris, first missing, then later found dead, that murder case. And then the Billy Shamirmir case, that also had some Collin County connections as well. So this was a bond hearing, and normally bond hearings happen within minutes. And it's usually a stack of papers, and the judge goes through them and says, you know, bond approved for this amount, and they go through a lot of them all on Monday, and they happen, like I said, within minutes. This was not the case, right? We had a setup, we had a media plan. They had a plan for all the media to get there early.
All right, I'm gonna hook something up real quick so we could get multiple views going. So bear with me, all right, guys? Give me 1 second.
There was security. There were 8 to 10 officers, 8 to 10 deputies from the Collin County Sheriff's Department. There, we had to go through 2 sets of metal detectors to get into this bond hearing. Very unlike what I'd normally see.
Yeah, and Brittany, the two families, the Metcalf family and the Anthony family, one thing I observed is the deputies that were there that Jobin mentioned, they had a plan to make sure the families were on different sides of the courtroom, and also leaving the courtroom when it was done, one went after the other to prevent any kind of conflict.
Absolutely, they had pretty much what seemed like a pretty strict schedule. Even when we were waiting in the lobby area right outside the courtroom, we saw Anthony's family be escorted into a side room, and around 8:30 is when they decided to let media in, and then at exactly like 8:40, that's when the family started to go in. And even when we went into the courtroom, we were filed in one by one, and they made sure each seat was filled, media in the back. We sat right behind Metcalf's family, and then on the opposite side was Anthony's family, the Anthony family.
So once everybody was inside the courtroom, the first thing we were looking for was when Karmelo Anthony was brought into the courtroom. Was there anything about him, his appearance that you observed, or the reaction in the courtroom to when he entered?
So before we get into that, I wanted to mention that there were no, as you said, no cameras inside the courtroom, which is normal for Collin County, right? What's also normal for Collin County is you're not even allowed to have cameras in and around the courtroom. So the only place where you could have cameras was in the lobby. So all of the photographers were out in the lobby, the reporters were out near the courtroom. So we all get escorted in, and there's always this it gets really quiet as soon as the defendant walks in, and in this case, it's Karmelo Anthony, a 17-year-old kid, and he's in a yellow jumpsuit. He's handcuffed, and he's walking in, and it gets really quiet because the families are set. The families are on opposite sides of the courtroom. The media is in the back, and it gets really quiet as soon as he walks in, and then he looks straight at the dais.
Yeah, Brittany, did you observe any emotion or movement or action? From my vantage point, it looked like for pretty much the duration of the hearing, he was pretty stoic, staring straight forward.
Absolutely, the whole time, just straightforward. We didn't see him turn to his family, the other family, nothing at all. One thing that we did notice, though, was Austin Metcalf. His mother immediately, before the hearing even began, you can see her kind of hunched over and someone there kind of comforting her. So it appears as though she might have been crying or pretty emotional during that time. But when Karmelo Anthony came in, it, like Jobin said, it was pretty much quiet, all eyes on him, and he just kept looking straight ahead.
So then Judge Angela Tucker enters the courtroom, and she began the hearing really by pointing out the unique nature of this bond hearing. Some of the things we've talked about, the public interest, some not so great things that the general public is doing, the impacts they're having on this hearing. Jobin, her pregame speech, if you want to call it that, was very interesting. And also, that's something from my experience covering courts that you don't always get from a judge being that upfront, that right away.
And she set the tone very early. And she started off by saying, listen, my office has been inundated by emails and calls from the public who are interested in this case. And I need you to understand that I don't have any personal connections with anybody involved in this case. And she also made sure to mention, which is something that's smart that a lot of judges do. She mentions that, one, I don't have any connection, and also I've been randomly assigned for this bond hearing, which is the way Collin County, and I'm assuming a lot of counties do it. Judge Angela Tucker, who has been there for close to, I think, 14, she's been there since 2012 in the 199th. Okay, so she's very seasoned. She knows what she's doing. She says, I was randomly assigned this bond hearing. It's very likely when they go through the cycle of judges, it's the administrative judge of Collin County who decides who the next judge is to take on the next matter. It's very likely she may not get the trial if it goes to trial, or any of the pretrial stuff that happens. So she made it very upfront that I was randomly assigned this bond hearing.
And part of that transparency, I don't know if it was what you were about to mention, Brittany, but she made clear that the Metcalf family divorce proceedings, she was very upfront about that she did not know the Metcalfs at the time, didn't even know that this was going to be her case. I think she said just last week she learned.
Yes.
So she got it all out there on the table because she does want to head off any ideas of conspiracy or anything that the public might read into it as being any kind of conflict.
Absolutely. She said she just learned that she was assigned to the case last Monday. And as Jobin said, she went through the whole process of how judges are assigned to the cases. And as you mentioned, she talked about the Metcalf's family, the divorce that Austin Metcalf's family went through back in 2016, and she mentioned how she had no direct connection with that hearing, with that proceeding, and how it was actually handled in auxiliary court. So she laid it all out, no conflicts of interest, and even when it was time to talk about those who might be coming to the stand or speaking, she went through those, she looked through those names and
to approach and get started in a few minutes. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
Okay. Are we starting? Okay. Okay. We're gonna go full screen on
the gentleman that you just saw there on your screen at the podium is Dominique Alexander. He is the president of the Next Generation Action Network. This is the advocacy group that is actually hosting a press conference for the parents of Karmelo Anthony. They've been releasing statements for the family.
As we get started, so we can put some house
back up
rules
there.
together.
Okay.
If we can swing over here and swing across the wall, we have security that are here in the building. We have a blended of Dallas Police Department and security for the Next Generation Action Network. Let me make this very clear because I say this unapologetically. The Next Generation Action Network has never played with the safety and security of anything. We don't play those type of games.
You played with the safety and security of that little child that you put in a hospital, an intensive care unit, because you abused them and you were convicted of that.
All right. We like to, whenever we doing a protest or anything, everybody in the media know we don't play when it comes to safety and security. So we're gonna ask once time for it, and ask you to slide over just one time. We're not gonna ask anybody something twice, okay? I will make sure that the safety of this family is ensured. It won't happen on my watch. I just want you to know so that you can quote it. If we have to ask more than once, just know that's coming at the direction of me. You can quote me on that.
What the hell is this guy talking about? What is he talking about? What is that baby beater talking about? Come on, man. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. Sorry.
You just heard from Dominique Alexander, the president of the Next Gen Action Network. We are expecting to hear from the parents of Karmelo Anthony, the high school student who was accused of stabbing and killing another high school student at a track meet about 2 weeks ago. This press conference was delayed because the father of the student who was killed unexpectedly arrived at the press conference. Originally, the Next Gen Action Network said that the press conference would not go on as long as Mr. Metcalf, Jeff Metcalf, was in the room. It's unclear. I'm trying to get information about if he is still there, how that was resolved, but the president of this organization says that they are starting here in a few minutes. If you did hear what he just said, if you didn't, we'll recap you quickly. Alexander was very clear and did not mince words about security at this event. He said that there are DPD officers as well as private security in the premises. They are here. He said he was very, very clear in saying that they were only going to ask once for safety precautions to be taken. And he said, that is their big priority with this press conference. Again, unclear if Mr. Metcalf is still in the room. If you are just joining us.
All right, so just to be clear with you guys, because I want to be 100% accurate, so especially people who are coming in who haven't seen my previous show, for you to understand, please go check out my show. Make sure that all of your notifications is set to all, so that when I drop a show, you're made aware of it, so that you're not in a chat like, what is Strategic talking about? Because I don't drop that many videos. So when I drop a video, I mean it. You feel me? I did a video on Alexander, who is the spokesperson that you just saw come up there and talk real tough about the safety and security of the people in here and rah, 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 rah. That guy was convicted in 2016 of beating his girlfriend's son, who's 2 years old, causing the child to get hemorrhage and bleeding between the two lobes of his brain and put him inside of intensive care for a very long time. Luckily, that child survived. Dominique Alexander. Aki just posted the video inside, the link to the video in the chat. This guy is a convicted child abuser. He beat this child, okay? That's a fact. That's not a speculation. It's not slander. He pled guilty to the charge and he did time in prison for it. So he owns that. That's him. That belongs to him. That's a part of his story, okay? The other thing that he did was he was on probation already, and he forged some from financial documents for financial gain. He also went on a high-speed chase with police in a stolen vehicle. That's this guy has a extensive criminal record. Then after he came out after abusing that child, he found Jesus, called himself a minister, and started this network where he started grifting off of black people who have been victimized by the system as a community activist. If you do your research, a lot of these community activists are ex-cons. They're ex-cons. What is it about being a criminal or a former criminal makes you somehow understand the black experience more so than black people who are law-abiding? I don't know. But if you do your research, a lot of these folks are ex-cons. This guy is a abuser of children, a convicted, tried, sentenced abuser of children. And I don't believe that Karmelo Anthony should have, or rather, it's not Karmelo Anthony. That's a little boy. His parents, I think his parents are doing their son a disservice by having this man as their spokesperson. This has nothing to do with Karmelo Anthony. You don't have to support or be against Karmelo Anthony to agree with me. Facts are facts. Whether Karmelo Anthony engaged in self-defense or murder, this man should not be on the podium talking to us. We should never hear from this man. He is a convicted abuser of children. That child almost died. If we did not have modern technology to have that child in the intensive care unit, that child would have perished. They would have perished. And he would be a murderer. By the grace of God and the ingenuity of man, that child lives today. Not because of anything this man did. Because everything he did was to kill that child. But by the grace of God, that child lives. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about this man, Dominique Alexander. I didn't know about this guy. I don't have no gripes to pick with this guy. I appreciated his first press conference. He basically broke down and spoke against a lot of the fake rumors and allegations that's been swirling in his case. I was happy that he came forward. But when I found out who he is and what he did, guess what? My heart is not that forgiving. My heart is not that forgiving. I'm not going to be a good Christian and forgive him for what he did to that child. That's between him and God, not me. I'm going to hold him accountable for what he did to that child to the day he dies. Because guess what? Nobody in their right mind should ever beat a child to the point where the child is hemorrhaging from the brain and is in an intensive care unit. He should have got more than 2 years. Should have did 15 years in prison for what he did. But that's what I'm talking about, guys. Now you guys know. That is 100% facts. Now you know. Hit that like button for me, please, guys. Hit that like button. Shun J says, baby, these community activists are crooks. Trust, especially here in Dallas. Grew up with them, and at the end of the day, most of them are street dudes that found a new hustle. Yeah, I agree. I'm from the hood, too. I can see a charlatan when one is coming towards me. It's called street smarts. A lot of you guys don't have that, which is nothing wrong against you. It all depends on where you live and what lifestyle you live. But for those of us who have street smarts, we can smell these charlatans a mile away. That's one of the blessings of having street smarts. You could tell when you're being hustled by a hustler. Let's keep going. Ivana ST says, Sarah strategically showed us a news article about his crime. Not only did I show you the news article, but within that article had the actual court documents. So the court documents are also in the video. These are official court documents. And this is America. You can't come on the internet and say this about this dude. Can't do that. You get in trouble. These are official court documents. I would never put myself out there and say what I just said about that Dominique Alexander dude if there was not proof. Period. And if Dominique Alexander was able to come to me and say, that wasn't me, that was my evil twin, I would come on here and give you a full-hearted retraction and apology. But it's him. It's 100% him. 1,000% him. And everybody who lives in that area knows his history too. I had people hit me up like, yeah, we know this is old news, but they still were supporting him. But they was acknowledging that they know it happened, and to them it's old news. But it's not old news to me. I'm not supporting somebody who's going to do that to a 2-year-old. Keep going.
Mic check, test 1 2. Thank you.
If you take a look at your screen now, what you are looking at is video of Jeff Metcalf being escorted out of the co-working space where the Next Gen Action Network's office is by Dallas Police. You see that there. Jeff Metcalf, the gentleman who was wearing the sunglasses and the blue shirt, who's being escorted out, is the father of Austin Metcalf, who was the teenager who was stabbed and killed at a track meet 2 weeks ago. He is being asked to leave, escorted out at a press conference. That is
that's what. Shake that man's hand. Shake his hand. Yeah.
Metcalf's child are expected to speak. You can see there he's
they
shaking
be putting us in tough positions, man.
That press conference is starting now. Here
we go.
Anthony's family.
Look at the beautiful family this boy come from. Because remember, people, these people didn't do anything. They defending their son. Why you betray your family going with a knife and stabbing people, and your family working so hard to give you a good life? By all accounts, he comes from a good family.
Let's make sure you let me know if any one of your cameras are.
Let me make the audio higher. Let me do that for you guys. Sorry. I got you. I'm going to take care of that now.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, testing. We all good? We all good? Okay. All righty. I want to start off this press conference to say something as a deep note that I can tell America.
Fuck is it?
What we seen at the beginning of this press conference, the father being at this press conference, these are my words, don't quote anybody, is a disrespect to the dignity of his son.
This is crazy.
Next Generation Action Network from the beginning has respected the loss of life. No matter our opinion of it, we have kept our opinion close. We have not attacked. We have not shared the information that was shared with us about Austin Metcalf, because we respect the dignity of life and loss. And as a minister
for what? You a baby beater.
I would not attack a grieving family.
Would you attack a 2-year-old boy?
Even if I disagree with them. When I have stood before this podium for people who have died at the hands of law enforcement, I have asked for that same manner of respect. And even when the shoe is on the other foot, I will not do that. And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who was not invited.
Oh my God.
He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words. Okay? What he has failed into is the political operatives.
He's doing too much.
That want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism.
Wow.
We have conservative operatives that have been posting non-stop about this case. It is outright disrespectful. We haven't been doing it. The Next Generation Action Network has been here, popular and unpopular. So regardless of what going on, that was disrespectful. Disrespectful. And I will leave it to y'all to define it. But of course we want to. Y'all, I'm Minister Dominique Alexander. I serve as the president of the Next Generation Action Network.
He's a minister.
Today I come before you with a heavy heart, but determined in spirit, not just as an advocate, but as a black man, as a father, as a protector, community, and children. There are 4 critical points I must address today, and I want to make sure that the public and the media and everyone who believes in truth and justice. First, the misinformation about the fund. From the very beginning, There was an intentional disinformation surrounding the fund created in the support of the Anthony family. The Karmelo Anthony Fund, hosted by Give, Send, Go. Let's be clear. The family has not received one dime. Any of the media could have verified this, but we saw on Twitter, we saw on Facebook, and so many different things of the false, lavish life of this family. $800,000 home, purchase Escalade, and private security. Let me make this very clear. The Next Generation Action Network has always had its security detail. Many of you that know us in the Dallas and Fort Worth media know that we have our own security detail. One of the individuals that escorted Karmelo Anthony out of jail is here present with us now. They are a part of the Next Generation Action Network security team. The family hasn't hired any private contractors or whatever, or splurged or whatever. But if they have the audacity to spend money for their safety and security, that's their prerogative. The family has not withdrawn, and just until recently, just yesterday, they were officially notified by Give, Send, Go that they could start the withdrawal process. But if anybody know about this process, they know that that takes about 2 to 3 days to withdraw from that and actually hit any account. But this blatant propaganda wasn't just about the fund. It was to discourage the public from giving to the fund. That's what this was about. Because just like TMZ was able to call, Give, Send, Go, everybody in the media, in these news outlets that I've never heard before, could have did the same thing. When I first called Give, Send, Go, they gave me every information that I needed. Okay? So that's what I'm going to say on regards to that. Let me make this very clear. This family never authorized a single fund on the GoFundMe platform. All of the funds that were raised on the GoFundMe were all fraud.
Oh boy. See his hands trembling because he's lying. Nah, he's probably telling the truth about this stuff.
All of the funds that was raised on
all the stuff he's talking about is probably true. It's verifiable stuff. My issue is, number one, he's a child beater, and number two, the disrespect that he showed the father of the decedent is unbelievable.
That platform were fraud. Okay? The family was the first to report these funds. One of the funds we identified raised up to $11,000. So a post about anything that stated that on me. The Next Generation Action Network is very well aware of the company's policy regarding raising funds for legal defense. Okay? Since this tragedy unfolded, the Anthony family has been subject to unimaginable amount of hate, racism, threats to their safety. People have sat outside their house, sent objects delivered to their door, publicly harassed, online and in person. This is not just about Karmelo. It's about the family who dared to stand and demand justice in a return and receive ugliness that racism in this country still breeds. But let me say this loud and clear. We are not scared. We are not moving. We will not be silent. What I've always said as the president of the Next Generation Action Network, we will never ask the oppressor for permission to liberate our people. We will not ask for permission to stand up for the rights of our children.
It's rights for the children, like you tried to liberate that 2-year-old of his life. Unbelievable.
The Next Generation Action Network has stood on both sides of the fence in ensuring that justice is served. Now, getting to the information that the Next Generation Action Network wanted to share with the public today. And I will go ahead and pass it over to the mother and once I make this statement, okay? All right.
Boy.
There's two more final. For the last week and a half, the Next Generation Action Network has engaged in communications with Frisco ISD to ensure that Karmelo Anthony's due process is not violated. We know that in the state of Texas, there are things that are discretionary things and decisions by the leadership of Frisco ISD, right? There are clear guidance in the state and education code regarding expulsion of a student. We have asked several times, we didn't just rush, we have had these conversations over the last several days, and we have stated that it is just outright wrong to get involved in this. Karmelo Anthony doesn't have to walk. He doesn't have to involve in any senior activities. But Karmelo Anthony is a 3.7 GPA student. And if he doesn't even go to class for the remainder of the year, he would graduate, okay? We've asked that Frisco do not make a decision in this situation. But Frisco ISD has notified of their intent to expel Karmelo Anthony from school 1 month before his high school graduation. That just shows me that Frisco ISD is trying to push off the blame. And what I have not heard the media say, as many media outlets have asked us what went on, I'm trying to find how many of y'all have asked the superintendent or one single board of trustee, why didn't you cancel or postpone? With weather in that magnitude,
What?
You couldn't have a track meet in rain
What that got to do with
or
anything?
thunderstorm or clouds. Y'all are the media. Ask your journalists, your weather journalists, how the weather was that day
Who
and
cares?
that time. Y'all do that research.
We stab people in the rain now? Is that how that
Because
works?
as a person who is the administrator of your children, you are responsible for the safety of the children.
Somebody said Mother Nature is
And
guilty
so
of
it
it.
seems as if Frisco ISD is trying to push this off by making this decision that they do not have to make.
Jack Frost did it.
So the Next Generation Action Network, outside of the legal process, will be going through different avenues regarding to ensure that we fight for the rights of Karmelo Anthony, okay? So in the next coming days, we will be announcing to the public. We will do direct action outside of Frisco ISD administration office because this is outright wrong. You are getting involved in a process that even the legal process has asked us to respect. And we're asking you to do that same thing. You do not have to get involved in this situation. But it seems that even with us going and meeting or having conversations, they have made their mind up. And we want to make sure that the record, that we talk.
All right,
truth
we
to
want to hear
power
from the parents
in
now,
regards.
bro. We want to hear from the
I wanted
parents.
to lay this out
Come
to
on.
ensure, because of the sensitivity of this case, there are so many moving factors that I have to explain so that this family does not have to explain.
We'd like to speak to the parents
Let
now.
me say this about the 4th, and let me repeat this so that you guys can go to the Frisco Police Department. The reason why the family or me or anybody with direct knowledge of this cannot talk about the particulars of what happened in that tent, I know you know this is all law, is because if anybody tell you there was an adult near or inside or whatever, this current investigation knows nothing about that. Everybody involved at this point of our knowledge are minors. In the state of Texas, you know we cannot release or talk about minors. So stop asking us the question. Stop. It's no. We can't even do it if we wanted to. Okay? We can't talk about it.
So you ain't gonna tell us nothing then. We're not gonna hear anything.
There is a court of law
We're not gonna get anything
that
from
will
them.
express everything, will lay out everything. We can't talk about it if we wanted to. Okay? So make it clear. Go back, confirm with Frisco Police Department. Go back, confirm with the district attorney. Even in the bond hearing, you didn't see a single thing said about people that was indirect. They're minors. Okay? So stop. The social media, stop. I haven't saw not one person single-handedly get this right in the public. They're minors, y'all. Just stop. We can't. Don't send another inquiry to NGAN inbox, do this, all of that. That's the reason why we felt like it was important to do this press conference today. We can't talk about it. So if you ask me, I'm just going to look at you, okay? So I'm telling the world.
So basically,
everybody know the
we're going to
state
get
law.
nothing out of
I'm
this
not creating
press
it.
conference. Nothing.
We can't talk about it. This family can't talk about it. I can't talk about it.
So why are we here?
Nobody, unless you want to be sued.
So you could talk to us about the weather.
You release one of those 16-year-olds or 15-year-olds and 17-year-olds name, the law of this land tells you what will going to happen to you. Okay? So don't ask that question. Finally, in regards to this judge,
Somebody said,
I do not know
Dad wearing a bow tie. Let me
Judge
get my knife.
Angela Tucker.
That's fucked up.
I've never met her, never known her, never been nowhere near her court. Don't know anything about her until we were notified that she was going to hear the writ.
Oh boy.
But the ugly attacks on her just shows Black America that no matter what you pick in the ballot box, and that is your constitutional right.
Oh gosh.
It's people out here reminding us of the Black struggle.
He's self-promoting, guys. Guys, this is all self-promotion. This guy is a grifter, and these folks back here are so entrenched in their grief, their sorrow, the dread of what might happen to their son, that they don't even realize that they're being played by this guy. This guy probably don't even care about their little GoFundMe, Gift Send Go, $500,000. The money he's going to make off of his grift makes the money that they've raised for Karmelo pale in comparison. He's not even trying to take their little money. He is using them to propel his own personal civil rights career.
This woman is a registered Republican, has been for years. She put herself through school, she raised her family, she did everything. I am a registered Democrat, proud. I'm the chair of the Dallas County Democrat Resolutions Committee. I don't know that woman. And to call her leftist is just downright.
The dad's body language is like, "What's taking you so long, bro? Like, let's get through this." I think I see frustration in his father's face.
The bond that was given is according to law and consistency with practice. If Aaron Dean can get a $300,000 bond when he killed a Tatiana Jefferson, Karmelo Anthony can get a $250,000.
Aaron Dean also went to jail for 15 years for what he did to Tatiana Jefferson. I covered that case. Very sad case. Terrible decision making by the police officer.
If Amber Geiger can get a $200,000 bond when she kills Botham Judge in his own home.
And now that was a miscarriage of justice. Amber Geiger should have got 25 years in prison for what she did to that beautiful, amazing, intelligent young man. I said beautiful. Take that back. Handsome, whatever.
He can get a 250. If Roy Oliver
I think she got like 12 years. She got like 12 years, but she should have got 25 years.
can get a $250,000 bond after he kills Jordan Edwards. All white officers. Why couldn't Karmelo Anthony be entitled? A child with no background, no criminal background, no endangerment to the community, none whatsoever, be placed on a ELE.
They back there paying their bills, paying their mortgage right now. This dude taking so long. They back there reading books.
And brought home. Please help me understand. Make this make sense. It's consistency. It's consistent with practice. After this, y'all, so that we'll know, this will be our final press conference until this trial.
Wait, where's my hooray? I wish I had my hooray. Hooray!
We will not speak to the media again after this, okay? Don't ask for comment, question, or whatever it is. The actions that the Next Generation Action Network take on Frisco ISD will be as separate from the legal process because we want to make sure that Karmelo Anthony's due process. This is going to be a jury case. And then let me make this very clear. This is a case that has not even been indicted. So, under the guise of Texas law, it's not even really proceeding to a trial yet because it has not even went through a grand jury to be indicted. We don't know if a grand jury will indict or not. We don't know. That's in the district attorney's hands, okay? And their legal team is preparing a packet for those things, and we will not be talking about the legal process regarding this case. Okay?
Somebody said in a moment he's going to tell the ushers to close the door.
So after today, I just want the media to know, and I want the public to know, I don't care what you say about me. I've been in this thing for 11 years.
Yeah, you a baby beater.
I am tried, tested, and proven.
Yep, hardened criminal.
I'm gonna just say, I'm from Oak Cliff.
Yeah, you beat babies.
Worser things have been said about me.
Yeah, you've
baby.
done worse things.
You ain't gotta inbox me. You ain't gotta tell me. I am the first person to tell my testimony.
Yeah, you beat babies.
I don't have to prove anything.
You give them
to nobody.
brain hemorrhages and put them in emergency rooms.
I am a proven testimony standing here.
Yes, you are. Of evil.
That God, even when you make mistakes, God is not finished with your story.
You call that as a mistake? When you beat a baby half to death, that's a mistake?
I'm going to bring this mother, Kayla Hayes, and it has taken her a lot of strength, y'all, to come and do this today. And I want you guys to respect her as she read this and giving her the respect that she deserves, y'all.
Now finally we hear from the only people that freaking matter, the family. See what she has to say.
Good afternoon. My name is Kayla Hayes. I am the mother of Karmelo Anthony. 3 years ago, my family moved to North Texas searching for a better life. Like so many other families, we wanted to give our children the future we did not have. My husband worked hard every single day to provide for us, to make sure we're in the best financial position possible. As a stay-at-home mom, I made it my life's mission to ensure our children are loved, nurtured, and supported every step of the way. In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Karmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff. Our address and my husband's previous employer's address has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her.
Austin is dead.
And let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime from the Give, Send, Go fundraiser. And the co-founder has stated that clearly. In the reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. And it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made. I don't know why we are being targeted and discriminated against before a fair trial. Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a 2-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do.
Ooh.
We believe in the Constitution, we believe in the laws of this state, but those laws must apply to all of us, not just some of us. To be clear, we will not speak publicly about specific details of what happened under the tent on that rainy and awful day. There's an active investigation that everyone involved wants to be full and fair. We believe in the legal process, and that is where the truth will come out. To the family who experienced the loss, my heart truly goes out to you. To those who have supported my family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We ask for your continued support, patience, and prayers as we navigate this difficult process. Thank you.
Y'all, I'm gonna show something up
Sorry, guys.
of a post.
But justice.
You come for me, I come for you. Sarah Fields. Never heard of this woman. This is the kind of despicable things that led to the father being here. Political operatives motivating this family.
What does the
with
post
hate.
say? We can't read that.
Karmelo Anthony posted on something that shows, posted here. These are the type of lies that are threatening this family. Posting the family's picture. These are the type of lies.
They couldn't even put that in color.
She's getting millions of views on this. Sarah. She's even came after me.
What she said? You a baby beater?
She's even said all of those things.
Did she say you was a baby
And
beater?
now that the public knows exactly what is going on, I asked, because these racist bigots try to prevent us from standing up for our baby, our boy, he should be afforded the same rights that Cal Rittenhouse had? Daniel Penna,
Penna?
and all of the people who have claimed whatever their defense was, he should be afforded the same right. Nobody in the public media has one video camera, but we got the video of Kyle Rittenhouse with an AK-47 shooting 3 people in the back.
He didn't shoot him in the back. That's a lie.
And he raised more than $2 million publicly, and nobody
Guys,
said-
correction. Kyle Rittenhouse did not shoot anybody in their back, all right? He didn't shoot nobody in their back. Don't listen to this guy. It's propaganda.
anything. So since they tried to come for us, I call for the community's overwhelming support for this fund. The disinformation
Give us more money. We want more money.
was put out was literally deliberate to prevent you from helping this family.
So they want more money. You heard that? They want more money.
And I want you to give overwhelming support to show them the community united can never be divided. And I'm going to say this again, and this is for everybody. Black people in America, while the current occupant sits at 1600 Pennsylvania.
Oh boy, it's politics
Black
now.
people in America don't have to pull the race card. It's what we live as a reality every day.
Oh my God. Oh, this guy just solved the case, ladies and gentlemen. This is breaking news. Breaking news. Trump stabbed Austin Metcalf.
We have to teach our children. We don't want to, but we have to. We don't like to, but if we want to sleep at night, we got to. I ain't pulling no race card. I live it. I'm reminded all the time that I'm a black man in America.
It was racism that made you shake that baby to death, almost to death, excuse me, resulting in that child being in the intensive care units fighting for their life. That was racism that did that.
And what y'all just showed to Judge Tucker is just reminded that hate and bigotry and racial reconciliation in this country, we have respected the process. I believe that Austin Metcalf is about to have his funeral. And I wouldn't dare, even with the information I know, and plenty people can share that and all that, but we have prevented from speaking about that in these type of public forums. It will come out. They have a more than
Somebody said they got their social media guy right there recording. He gonna put it on the TikTok.
Attorney, and this family will go through a process of being able to get prepared for this trial. So I just say this real quick. This is our final time. Speaking to public and holding a press conference regarding this particular case. Now, the Next Generation Action Network will talk about Frisco ISD, but we will not do this. I will not ask this mother to do this again. The attorney will not. We won't do this again. Don't ask. We will see you at trial. Whatever venue that is, we will see you there. I stand 10 toes down supporting this family. And I want to thank all of the community leaders and people that I have seen that have came here today. Bishops and pastors and clergy, community leaders with respectability in this community. I see them today. And I want to thank them for their presence.
I beat the children.
Because this family needs strength right now.
I will beat your children.
And God bless you.
He walk away with his soft shoes on. His soft shoes on. Come on. You couldn't put shoes on.
For the first time, we just
Send
heard
me
from
money.
Kayla Hayes, who is the mother of Karmelo Anthony, the Frisco ISD student who was accused of stabbing and killing another Frisco ISD student at a track meet a couple weeks ago. You know, what we just heard from Hayes, if you didn't get to hear all of her comments, she was very emotional, very tearful, being held by her husband. And her message today was really informing the public of the way that her family has been impacted over the past 2 weeks. She says that her family has been threatened, they've been attacked, and they've been lied about. She said that she believes in the Constitution and the law, and her ask of the public and her ask is that we just watch this play out. This case is, as what's been indicated here, is going to go to trial, and she said she wants a fair trial for her son. She was very emotional talking about the way this has impacted her other children, her husband, who she said has to take a leave from work, and she also did mention the Metcalf family. Austin Metcalf is the teenager that was killed in this case. She says that her heart goes out to this family that has suffered a loss. If you've been with us over the past hour, this press conference was actually delayed because Austin Metcalf's father actually showed up to the press conference, did not leave when he was asked to leave initially, and was peacefully escorted out. We've got video of that now by Dallas police. During this press conference, Dominique Alexander, who is the president of the organization that hosted this press conference, spoke about Metcalf being at the press conference. He called it disrespectful. As you can see here, Mr. Metcalf had a calm conversation with officers. I believe he shakes hands with the officer he's speaking with before he walks away. And he had stood in the back of the room with his sunglasses on like he's wearing now, not really engaging with anyone, but did stand there for some time and again, refused to leave when he was initially asked before police actually escorted him off after we're told the owner of the co-working space where this office is told him he was trespassing if he refused to leave. A really emotional.
So this is like a WeWork type place. It's not WeWork the company, but like, you know, those multi-office kind of places where you could rent out space. And so that's where they did this press conference. It's probably where that National Action Network people have their offices as well.
Minutes hearing from Kayla Hayes, whose son is charged with murder in this case. She said she wants a fair trial for her son. We did hear quite a bit from Dominique Alexander, again, who is the president of the organization that has been advocating for this family. And he wanted to clear up a couple of things. He spoke about what he called disinformation about a fund that was created for Karmelo Anthony, saying that the parents, Karmelo Anthony's parents, have not accessed what he said is a dime of that money, saying that they were just notified yesterday that they are able to make withdrawals.
All right, so let's bring it to me because like I did 2 videos yesterday. None of them were posted for everybody. One video was reporting on all of the money that allegedly was being used to buy houses and cars and all that stuff. And I sent that over to my Patreon, I think. And then I did another video where I said I got to check myself. And I sent that over to the membership. I'm going to send that over to the Patreon too so that they could get a rebuttal to the video that I sent over to them. And in the video where I said I got to check myself, I pretty much said what this guy said at the press conference. And I said, I don't know the family of Karmelo Anthony. I don't know what the father does. You know, these are all solid middle-class families. Who am I or anybody else to say that they didn't have the money to go and live and rent out this place? And I made a point that in New York, poor people are paying $3,500 for rent. It all depends on where you live. It's not that hard to make a lot of money, depending on what your skills are and where you are and what the demographics are and the cost of living is. So when somebody says, oh, the mansion costs $3,500 to rent, I'm like, yeah, that's not even my mortgage. You know what I mean? You know, I'm in New York, you know? So it's like, I said to myself, I said, listen, I'm not going to jump the gun. I'm going to check myself. I'm going to retract my feelings. I'm not going to jump the gun and assume that the parents were some poor people before this. We don't know that. We don't know what the father does. They might have been using their own money to finance this stuff. I said, yo, if you go to any project in New York City, you're going to see those $100,000 Escalades. You're going to see like 4 of them parked in a parking lot. However you feel about it, doesn't really matter. It's a reality. So people have ways of leasing and financing and all that good stuff, these luxury items. We can't assume that they use that money without proof. And that's basically what I said in my rebuttal to my own video where I'm like, look, are they using this money? And then I rebutted myself and said, yo, there's no evidence that they're using this money. This is a tragedy. I'm going to tell you how I feel about this, and then I'm going to let you guys go because I got to get ready for work. I think that it was a mistake. First of all, I think that the father is very brave for doing what he did, coming to his press conference. It's huge. This guy is grieving the loss of his son. It doesn't matter how you slice it. People with reason know that this is not self-defense. I put up videos. One video I got right now, I thought it was going to not get that much views. the video is going viral for my standards. Right now, it's like it went from like nobody watching it to almost 10,000 views right now, just in just a day. I'm a small channel, so that's huge for my standards. I got Lee Merritt. I got other prominent attorneys. Lee Merritt is a civil rights attorney. He was involved with the George Floyd. He was involved with the one that happened in what is it, like Mississippi or Alabama or something like that, where the guy was jogging and he got killed by those were really racist dudes, the father and son, because they literally have Facebook posts where they're talking about, yeah, we gotta go kill all the N-words. If I see an N-word coming in my community, I'm gonna shoot him. They were saying stuff like that. What's up, buddy? Got you. Go put some clothes on. We'll go out as soon as I'm done. Anyway, what was the name of this guy? Let me go. I know somebody in the chat is saying it. Who's jogging? What was that guy's name? Oh, Ahmaud Arbery. There we go. Like those guys really turned out to be racist. He was involved in all these cases. All of those cases. He came out and said, yo, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I've literally perused the entire internet. The only people that are saying this is self-defense is people on the internet. Random people in comment sections and TikTokers who have no law enforcement, no criminal justice, no law experience, nothing. They just talking heads, activists, whatever, or just regular random Joes. Every single attorney that talks about this case says either A, not self-defense, or B, it's going to be very difficult to convince the jury that it's self-defense. Even when they're trying to give deference, they're like, no, because you can't, people, one person went in my comment section and my response was like, yo, you really believe what you're saying? They're like, yo, these kids were bigger than him and this, that, and the third. First of all, that's not how self-defense works. That means every single school fight is going to resolve in somebody getting stabbed or shot too. Doesn't work that way. If somebody pushes you or grab you, you can't stab them. Just can't. Just doesn't work that way. It's not how the law is meant to work, at least in any state. It's not how the law is meant to work. Now, if you get off, you get off. It's possible Karmelo could get off. It's all up to a jury. But it's just not how the law works. And some of the things that are documented his said is problematic. Like, touch me and see what happens. You can't say stuff like that. They understand that they're giving you permission to use deadly physical force to defend yourself from grave bodily injury or serious physical injury. They expect you to say stuff like, don't touch me, otherwise I will defend myself with this knife. They expect you to do that. They expect you to pull the knife out and show the knife to the assailant and say, you come any closer and you try and get me, I'm going to defend myself. I don't have any, I'm not divided on this on racial lines. I don't care. I care about the topic. I care about the legality of it because I'm a law enforcement agent and I love the law. If Karmelo Anthony pulled the knife out of his bag and said, get away from me, don't touch me, or I'm going to defend myself. I will stab you if you come after me. And then Austin Metcalf want to be some hero and tried to grab the knife and he got stabbed, I'd say that's self-defense. Because once you pull that knife out, not only are you defending yourself, but you have to defend the knife too, because if the person takes the knife from you, who's to say what they will do with it? Just like a gun. If you pull a gun out on somebody and say, don't come in closer to me, get away from me, don't touch me, and the person charges towards you, you have a right to shoot them. Because what happens if they rustle the gun away from you? Will they just say, ooh, I got your gun, ooh, I got your gun, or will they actually take the gun and shoot you? You don't know. So you have to protect yourself. You have to protect yourself and you have to protect the knife. If the reports are as what have been reported, that he puts his hand inside of the bag and he's hiding his hand, you can't, that's not self-defense, man. It's just not. It's not. It's just not. Especially when it's just a everyday high school disagreement between teenagers. Especially when, like Lee Merritt says, this child articulated, what was the words that Lee Merritt said? It was like schoolyard aggression or something like that. Like Like, he did not articulate that his life was in danger. His head wasn't stomped in. His rib wasn't broken. His lip wasn't busted. His tooth wasn't missing. There was no bruises, no contusions on this kid's body. Nothing. Nothing that showed that he was assaulted. You can't stab somebody because they say, yo, leave our tent. Everything is context, guys. You're not in your house watching TV and then somebody just busts in your house and you eating steak and you got a knife in your hand and this person busts in your house and you're like, what the hell are you doing in my house? And then they attack you and then you stab them. That's justified. That's the castle doctrine. Everything is context. These kids were in a track meet. They were on school property. They weren't in the school. They were on land owned by the school where school activities occur on. You're not supposed to have knives or any type of weapon on school property. One kid is under his school tent and says to the other kid that's under his school tent, you're not supposed to be here. You need to leave. That kid probably had every right to say, yo, it's a free country, man. Your school doesn't own this spot. Sure, you put your tent up here, but who the hell are you to tell me what to do? He had every right to say that. Maybe that's what he said. Then Austin, being a dummy, was like, oh, no, you got to go. If you don't go, I'm going to move you. Maybe he pushed him. Maybe he grabbed him. Guess what? You still don't have a right to knife the guy to death. Being a bully or an asshole or a Captain Saver or whatever, doesn't mean it's a death sentence. Doesn't mean, just like George Floyd being a drug addict, being a thief, being a robber, doesn't mean that he deserved to have this man knee on him for 8 minutes. One doesn't equal the other. George Floyd was all of those things that I said, whether you like to hear it or not, but he also was a victim. He also didn't deserve to have a knee on his neck. We saw it with our own eyes. The same thing goes for Austin Metcalf. Should he have been the enforcer of the tent? Probably not. Maybe he thought he had to be because he was a captain and the MVP and the leader of the team. So he felt he needed to stand up for the team. Whatever. Maybe he was a bully. Maybe he was an a-hole. We don't know. We'll find out during the trial what was said by the witnesses. But did he deserve to die? No. No. Shoot, we'll go even further. Was he wrong for telling Karmelo Anthony to leave? Maybe he was. But he's still a victim because he didn't deserve to die. We could go even further. Is Karmelo Anthony guilty? In my opinion, he's going to be found guilty, guys. But does he deserve to spend the rest of his life in prison? Probably not, because he's a kid and kids make dumb mistakes. Maybe he just needs to be in jail for a couple of years and get reformed. I don't know. I don't have these decisions. These are the decisions that will come from the jury, whether they're going to give him 50 years in prison or 5 years in prison. I think they should be angling for a plea bargain, really. They should be discussing with the district attorney a plea bargain on manslaughter. Take away that first-degree murder that says that he basically premeditated it, which you can infer from him saying, do that again, and I'm going to and see what happens. And then when he pushes them, the witnesses that says, punch me in my face and see what happens, or punch me and see what happens. And then he knifed them. That's premeditated murder. That's why they charged him with murder in the first. But he's a kid. They should be angling for a plea bargain on manslaughter. Give the kid 5 to 15 years, and he's still out in his prime. He's 17 years old. They give him 15 years. He does 11 of those years with good time. He's still coming out in his prime. He's still in his 20s when he comes out. That's exactly what they should be doing. They shouldn't be out here grandstanding with this fake community activist who's a convicted child abuser, letting this man bloviate and basically use you to raise funds for his own organization, pretending like he cares about it, but he doesn't care about you. Because any real PR person would tell you to be silent and remorseful and to possibly join the father, not physically, unless they wanted to do that to show that solidarity and say, listen, we are on different sides, but we want to come together to show that there's no beef between us because we had nothing to do with this. The parents had nothing to do with what happened in those bleachers. Don't allow tribalism to take away common sense. Karmelo Anthony comes from a good family. They're not a bad family. They're not bad people. They raise their children well. Austin Metcalf comes from a good family. Both his mom and his dad loved him. They're not bad people. They raised their children well. If you really want to be on some religious, totally moral mumbo jumbo, you could say that the Karmelo family is in a better position than the Metcalf family, because the Karmelo family got kids that they're raising as one unit, not divorced. But we're not going to hold divorce against people. It happens. It happens to the best of us. But I'm just saying, that's an intact family right there with the Karmelo Anthony family. They didn't do anything wrong. This is between Karmelo and Austin Metcalf. The decisions that these kids made in a high-octane situation where they allowed testosterone and bad judgment to govern both of their actions, one of them just made the ultimate foolish decision. A real PR person would tell the family, remain silent, don't talk, don't make any postings unless you are posting support and grieve for the other family and demanding that people wait for justice for your son. That's the only thing you should say, if anything. But this guy's not telling them to do that. Why? Because he needs them to give him the spotlight so he could get the money, cash in and get that money. That's what he wants. He doesn't want their money. He doesn't want that $500,000 that they raising on that Give, Send, Go. That's chump change to these activists. This case will give him the notoriety to raise millions. These families don't understand that they are being grifted. They're being robbed. They are being used and abused. And it's happening on both sides, because as I'm watching this stuff play out, on the right side, there's a lot of misinformation and anger. And on the left side, there's a lot of misinformation and anger. On the right side, there's a lot of racism. On the left side, there's a lot of racism too. And that's shameful, because the left is supposed to be the side that's against the racism, and racism everywhere. Over two kids that probably didn't even hate each other because of the color of their skin. Their beef in their hearts probably had nothing to do with the color. It was just, why is the opposing team under my tent? And why does this dude think he could tell me what to do and putting his hands on me? That's it right there. That's Austin Metcalf's side right there. And that's Karmelo Anthony's side. To them, race had nothing to do with it. I guarantee you, when Karmelo Anthony stabbed that boy, he didn't say, I'm stabbing this white man who's trying to oppress me. And I guarantee you, when that boy, Austin Metcalf, told him to get from under the tent, he wasn't saying, let me tell this N-word to get under my tent. He was saying, let me tell this opposing team member to get off from under my tent. Race had nothing to do with these kids, but yet it has everything to do with us adults. And we should be ashamed of ourselves because of it. We should. It is what it is. Anyway, let me get out of here because my son want to go play basketball outside. I love you guys immensely for joining me at such short notice. We have 350 people who's in the room. Please hit that like button. Support the channel. You guys are amazing. Consider becoming a member of the Patreon. Consider becoming a member of the membership. It is what it is. This is YouTube. It's a business. It's what we do. We give you extra stuff for your support. Other than that, stay true to yourselves. Love your neighbor regardless of the color of their skin. And understand that bigotry is food of the devil. I just made that up. Does that make sense? Does that sound good? Bigotry is food of the devil? I don't know. Maybe it's corny. I don't know. I'll see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Yo, by the way, I didn't set up the outro yet, guys, so I apologize. We don't have no intro and no outro. Aki did send me the videos. I just haven't had time to put it in the new system because we're working on a new computer right now. So I apologize for that. So there will be no outro after I say peace. So I see you guys on the next one. Peace.